Hi, good morning, everyone. Let's get going. Yeah, last night's session in the U.S. was actually a bit of a non-event. We traded down right on the open. I think we were down about 0.5% on the S&P, probably more or less the same in the Nasdaq, and we kind of just drifted back up to the initial levels and moved sideways from there. I mean, it was very low volatility, no leadership whatsoever. We did have some data out yesterday. Obviously, we had the retail sales number, which came out and was a small miss. We actually had PPI numbers. One of the PPI numbers, I think it was the ex-food and energy, was in line. The one including food and energy, or sorry, with food and energy was in line. Ex-food and energy, I think, was a touch, was 0.1% hotter. So yeah, I mean, nothing to really take any leadership out of. We had some earnings that really started to flow through yesterday. A couple of the big banks were out and beat earnings. We had Wells Fargo and J.P. Morgan both beating on the day. If I'm not mistaken, J.P. Morgan closed at like a 15-year high yesterday. So as much as you're hearing the guys complaining and trading revenues are down and the revenue from IPOs and things like that are down, they're still managing to really find a real margin somewhere in the business at the moment, taking these things all the way back to those multi-year highs. I think is very impressive, considering. All right, if we look at what happened in Asia overnight, a bit of a mixed bag. Australia and Nikkei soft, Shanghai, Hang Seng, both trading up. That's a reversal out of the Hang Seng. It was down earlier, as well as the Shanghai Composite. So both those markets have really reversed to the upside. The big thing overnight was obviously all the Chinese data. We had a lot of economic data there. Pretty much everything slightly soft. It looks like the GDP number came in line. I don't see how it's impossible that they have 7% GDP growth, but whatever it is, what they say it is, I guess. The retail sales were a miss. Industrial output was a miss. And fixed asset investment was also a miss. So, I think all in all, obviously a soft set of data out of China. But, market goes up every day there. So, I don't know how much you can take out of the market actually going higher. You've got too many people. They opened 1.1 million new stock accounts in the past week in China. So with all the leverage that they've been throwing to these new investors, these high schoolers and college students and folks that can't read, I think it's creating quite a situation there at the moment. All right. Let's move into a chart of interest on the day. Nothing special here, just got India versus China, and the IMF's actually projecting that this year that India is going to move ahead of China in terms of GDP growth. Is the first time we're going to see this since 1999. So I think it's significant, just kind of seeing a bit of a change in leadership. I would be surprised if we don't start to see a lot more chatter about India, because remember the Indian economy or Indian population is quite big. Them growing at that sort of rate, you're going to probably start to see a lot more funds flowing into India rather than China, with all the problems that you have going into China at the moment. Right, we've got Bank of America today out in the States. Not a whole hell of a lot else, but there are some others, but this is obviously the biggest one. Looking at market data today, we talked about the Chinese numbers already. We had industrial production out of Japan as well, which looks a touch better than prior numbers. We've got mortgage apps in the States. We've got retail sales here locally at 1. Then we've got the ECB coming out with with rates, and we've got Empire Manufacturing crude oil inventories out in the States as well. All right, let's get into the maps. Okay, we've been touching on a lot of the same stocks over the past few days, and that may continue just because there's been very little leadership as of late. It's been hard to really pick a theme. I think yesterday, if we could say anything for the day, we had mining stocks, obviously, which really felt like they turned the corner to a point. I'm not sure. I don't expect them to trade well necessarily right at the open because of maybe Chinese data sets, but either way, we definitely, I think, was a bit of a sea change there. We had a bump up the last 2 days in iron ore prices from like $47 to $50, which in percentage terms I think is significant, but it's not a very big move, in terms of where we've fallen from. But obviously that's, I think, maybe caught some of the guys that are short some of these iron ore stocks and starting to have them unwind a little bit. Okay, so what we're just going to show here, this is the Aussie that we broke out here, obviously around 47,300. And you can see there we came down and tested that pretty much right on the nose yesterday. It put in a really good fight at 47,400, and then it finally broke through that, got down and tested exactly this number, as you can see there on the wick. I can zoom it in a little bit more, and maybe you can see that a little bit better. We tested that on the nose and then reversed up to close a bit higher, and then they ramped futures after hours as well. So, we may see a retest of this morning. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw a retest of this level again this morning. So maybe watch for that. If we get down there, and we're struggling to break down there, or if it shows us like a nice hold, we start to reverse off that level, it could be a really good opportunity to have a nibble this morning on the long side. And what I think was resistance now is major support. Okay, Anglos, I've pretty much shown this every other day for the past couple weeks, but you can see here, this is the London chart. I'm just showing this one because it's a little bit cleaner, but it works out the same in South Africa. You can right here where we broke down from, a week and a half ago, we closed at exactly that level, or within a 2p of exactly that level in London. And I think this is the major level we got to watch out for. Call it 1040, 1042, something like that in pence. We're looking at around 184 in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a quick look. Call it 184-ish. And those are the levels that we're going to look out for. If we manage to hold below those levels, obviously that's bearish. But the reversals yesterday were I think telling, and I think we just got to be very, very careful in this play over the next couple sessions. All right, Naspers absolutely decimated yesterday after having a 13% run in a couple days. This thing shows us a big correction here. I think, just having a look yesterday, when we broke out from this ascending wedge, that was obviously, I think, where you could say we broke out from yesterday. We came down, tested this, and we tested this. We got through support here to a point, and then we came back and we closed just above where I think support is on this level. Call it 1860. So, I think that was a really good hold out of Naspers. So it's not saying much. The share, I think, still finished down 5.5% or something like that on the day. But bottom line is there's definitely some support around there for Naspers. I think there's more major support down here around 1725. That's a hell of a long ways away, but this thing has been moving in 100 Rand clips as of late. So just, be careful around this one. I mean, it's just moving so viciously. It can obviously have a couple major swings in the next couple of days. All right, Truworths I'll show here simply because potentially looking a bit double top-ish here. We had a real spike up. We had 2 days in a row where we failed to take out the highs and definitely and also failed to take out the closing highs, which I think is significant. So just watch this one closely. Also had a huge run of the last few sessions along with the rest of the retail space. Foschini, this one made this breakout that we were talking about above 180. And we got exactly to our target pretty much of 200 and then made a nice reversal off the top there. So, we saw a little bit of a shift yesterday. I think we've got to continue to look out for that today. Mining stocks started to get bid yesterday, toward the middle of the day in a serious way. We closed up 4% in London and Anglos, 3% in Billiton. We made, even though the gold shares and things were strong on no upside in the gold price, so I'm not real sure why the mining space took the bids, but you could yesterday was the first day you could see quite a clear shift, I think, in in the market that we haven't seen in a while, with the mining stocks going bid and the retail space maybe going Oxford. Banks actually held up pretty well, but there was definitely some sort of shift in assets there yesterday. So let's watch today, see if that continues, and I think that could be a real starting point for what we look for over the next couple of days. That's it for today, guys. Good luck out there.